the integrator to the government official testing lab.
The outbreak is being monitored by the Arkansas Department of Agriculture, Game and Fish Commission, and the Arkansas Department of Public Health.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah. Well, you know, they're all types. Yeah, if you need one, you can hold on to it.
We will show you how to prepare your own taxes for free. We will use computers at our sites. We will walk you through the process every step of the way. And we will file tax returns for those who do not have the ability to file on their own. If you live in Central Arkansas, call us at 581-376-7151. If you live in Pine Bluff and Southeast Arkansas, call us at 870-536-6300. All of the refund and learn how to do your taxes done. To get an appointment, call 581-376-7151. If you live in Central Arkansas, or Pine Bluff and Southeast Arkansas, call 870-536-6300.
You love your dog, and we do too. For over 70 years, the Little Rock Dog Training Club has been
when did we get that?
lifelong bonds and good
You have it now, almost with it. It just came on. Okay, that's the first time I've heard of it. That's
Yeah, I just think, when did we get that? When did we get that promotion? Thank you, that promo.
To help you and your dog achieve your goals. For 8-week training sessions at the Little Rock Dog Training Club include classes throughout the week to fit your busy schedule. Registration for the next session opens in late February. Classes start on March 8th. Check out their website, littlerockdogtrainingclub.com, and join them on Facebook. Little Rock Dog Training Club is a registered nonprofit established to serve our community. Once again, check out their website, littlerockdogtrainingclub.com. That's Little Rock
I see this brother with a
and join them on Facebook.
with one of those big things that food truck drivers drive, but it's for dogs, and he calls himself the dog master.
Like the dog was.
Yeah, I don't know if he's cleaning dogs, probably so. Going on from there. Can you hit my audio for me, Tony?
Let's see, what?
Let's just slip right here.
Got you.
Not yet.
Bless you.
What time was that? Still by him.
Okay. The switch.
Got it now. Those working? Those not working at all?
Yeah, as long as yours works.
Yeah. Here, you can take these if you need them, but Tony, I can just
I can
talk on.
I can deal with it.
Okay.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, you heard the music. You know what time it is, like 9 o'clock. It's time for the workplace. Here exclusively on KABF 88.3 FM, where we are the voice of the people. I hope you're having a great Thursday morning so far. It's a little chilly. Well, no, you know what? It's cold outside. It's not chilly. It's cold outside, but we appreciate you tuning in this morning. As always, we have in studio the Reverend Dr. Denise Danielle. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Grand Rising humans.
And we also have in studio Larry Hicks from Let's Talk About It on Monday from 9 to 10. He's going to be joining the conversation with us this morning, just talking about the state of affairs that are going on here in the state of Arkansas and in this country. And so before we get started, just want to let everybody know we are in Players Drive. Your monthly contributions and your pledges, donations go to the sustainability of KABF 88.3 FM. Been around doing 41 years now, heading to our 41st year. And it's because of you, the listening audience, who you are the voice of the people, that we're able to sustain and maintain. So during Players Drive, we have this deal. For $150, you get 20 60-second spots for $150. 20 minutes of airtime for $150. For your business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're creative, you want people to know where you are, what you're doing, here's your opportunity to take advantage of this. So many people are taking advantage of it doing this Players Drive. It is just so awesome. So you can give 3 ways. You can go to www.kabf.org. You can click the donate button, and while you're there, become a sustaining member of KABF 88.3. You can also call 501-372-6119, and you can talk to our program director, Charles Ray. You can give your donation to Players that way. Or as you are listening to one of your favorite shows, call in at 501-433-0088. Talk to your favorite DJ or host, and you can give a pledge. You can also send a check of money order to 2101 South Main Street here in Little Rock, Arkansas, 72206. Or if you want, as you come by to peruse our free CD selection, the free CDs that are available to you, you can give a pledge or donation that way. And as always, if you come in person and give a pledge or donation, we'll make sure that you don't leave empty-handed. Make sure you get a t-shirt, a coffee mug, bumper sticker, pen, something to show our appreciation for you coming by KABF 88.3 FM and give me your pledge online. Give me your pledge in person. Also want to thank the Nevermind the Morning crew. On Tuesday, there was a meet and greet at Whitewater Tavern. They came together and had a great time. It was awesome, and I really appreciate them getting together for this. Raised about $350 during that time meet and greet. So it was an awesome experience. So before we go any further, Denise, do you want to greet the people, and do you have any announcements?
I do have a few announcements. Thank you so much. Want to let you know that the People Trust Community Federal Credit Union presents Crypto Summit on Sunday, February 16th. That's this Sunday. The summit goes on to demystify cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and decentralized finance for the general public, and to educate the public about financial technologies. This is happening from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Capitol Hotel at 111 West Markham Street. So this is the Crypto Summit hosted by the People Trust Community Federal Credit Union. And that is the only Black CDIF here in Arkansas that is started by Arlo Washington. I also want to let you know that there is a Black Author Showcase happening on Thursday, February 20th. A Black Author Showcase. Join us as we spotlight and discuss the literary works of UA Little Rock's faculty, staff, and alumni. This is happening on Thursday, February 20th from 3 to 5 p.m. and it's going to be at the DLC Ledbetter Hall. For more information, you can contact 501-916-6645. we do have a couple of more announcements for you. Don't forget that the Village Place is hosting their February fundraiser. Their goal is to raise $10,000 to support 75 families impacted by recent events, to provide emergency relief supplies, to support 20 families with rental assistance. This is happening all month long, and you can visit the website at www.thevillageplace.org. That's www.thevillageplace.org. On tomorrow, Friday, February 14th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there will be a 2025 Health and Wellness Fair from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Philander Smith University. You can come out because it is open to the public. There are valuable resources. It is free of charge. You can have prizes. There'll be everyone is welcome. You can get your flu shots, insurance enrollment, financial products, health screenings. You can talk about tobacco cessation. You can get assistive technology demos, resources for seniors, drug prevention resources, mental health resources, hands-only CPR, all kinds of stuff happening tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Philander Smith University. Also, come celebrate Black History with us at the 2025 King Kennedy Awards on Saturday, February 15th. Pre-awards reception begins at 5:30, and it is followed by the awards program dinner at 6:30. There are 8 outstanding individuals and 1 organization that will be honored for their significant contributions to their communities and to the natural state. I do believe, Tony, that those are all the announcements that I have right here in this moment, and we can govern ourselves. Oh, wait, one more, maybe 2 more. Okay, the Central Arkansas Library System Speaker Series presents Victoria Christopher Murray, the best-selling co-author of The Personal Librarian and the First Ladies, on tour with her new novel, Harlem Rhapsody. This is happening Thursday, February 27th. You need to know now, though, because you got to go pick up the book. The books are being sold right here at Pyramid on 1001 Wright Avenue, and this starts at the Ron Robinson Theater at 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Finally, the used book sale is happening right now today. Not right now, but on today from 2 to 5 p.m. and tomorrow and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 7773 Sloan Drive. Get your used books. It's probably some banned books up in there. Go and get them. We need them. And those are the announcements that I have for you on this day. Thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome. And so phone lines are open this morning. And so, like I said before, we have in the studio, our guest today is Larry Hicks. Larry Hicks is part of the legal counsel for the NAACP here in Little Rock. Me and Larry had worked on many grievances with state employees together. And I wanted Larry to come on. He's very involved in what's going on in the General Assembly during their meeting.
CVS Pharmacy.
During their meeting this over the past month, and some of the bills that are coming through. One bill in particular, SB 3, Senate Bill 3, which basically is taking diversity, equity, inclusion out of any state, municipal, or city principality, government. And I just want to talk to Larry about how this is going to impact not only state employees, but also city and county employees. Welcome to the workplace, Larry. How are you doing?
I'm delighted and honored to have the opportunity to be at the workplace with the infamous Reverend Dr. Toney Orr and the illustrious Miss Denise, and the kind of work that you both have been doing for the general community for years on end is the type of information that pays off in the way of elevating the concerns and interests of the people.
Yeah, and it's so unusual because some Monday mornings I come in and I walk past the studio and you'll look at me and point to the seat. I've been on your show quite a few times, and so I think this is the first time I'm able to reciprocate and have you on my show.
Well, I'm humbled and delighted, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. So Larry, let's get right into it. So SB 3. It came out of committee, and I think it's still waiting on the vote from the Senate floor. I know it came out the Senate committee. I think it's already gone through the House, so I think it's waiting on the
Yes,
final
it
vote
is,
of the
from what I
Senate.
understand.
So tell our listening audience, briefly, what SB3 is and what is it going to do when it comes to the workplace?
I think the SB3 is nothing more than a major impediment in terms of continuing to develop meaningful relationships between blacks and white here in the state of Arkansas. It is tragic that people still think that there does not exist any racism or discrimination at all in the state of Arkansas, when historically it has been here for 248 years. And you don't have to believe me, you can just read the history to that effect. And this measure that they have put into place to suggest that it's going to represent colorblind opportunities for people to be able to fully participate in the governmental process is nothing more than a smokescreen and an illusion. Because in my humble view, there has never, ever, I can't ever recall any black person in America being preferentially treated in any way, shape, or form. I can identify many white folks who can take advantage of that and have taken advantage of that. But I don't see where blacks have benefited from preferential treatment in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and like I said, me and you, we done grievances where we see in these grievances where we see the discrimination, blatantly, where we see there were state employees who should have been promoted to a position or who have been terminated or disciplined, and you can see it. And one of the things that the fear is that SB3 will take that away and reverse it.
Yes,
because now, based on the language in this bill, is that if you're a white employee and you don't get promoted to a job and a black person get promoted to that job, you can turn around and say, well, that black person got promoted because they were black. And even though they say it's going to be based on merit, who decides the metrics of the merit?
Exactly. That's always the $50,000 question in terms of who determines exactly what the merits are going to be representative of. Because if they were fully engaged in basing things on merit, a whole lot more black folks will be employed at supervisory and management levels at all levels of agencies within the state government here in the state of Arkansas. But that has not been the case. And I hasten to say that in the 21st century of our Lord, here in 2025, people still think like that, Tony. That's amazing to me. And the fact that they want to put their heads in the sand and play like we are a colorblind society right now is not realistic at all. Because in my judgment, the state of Arkansas, given what history has represented, and especially when you go back to the time that Mrs. Daisy Bates integrated Central High School back in 1957, Arkansas should be the standard. They should be at the gold standard of demonstrating how blacks and whites can live comfortably together with one another, but instead they're not. They're doing the exact opposite. It's a effort to try and roll back a whole lot of the rights we've had for many years. But I am hopeful and optimistic that black folks and people in general will fight against that.
Yeah, and then when you look at historically, not just in Arkansas but across this country, municipal jobs, public jobs have been a way for a lot of black people to earn a good living. Their benefits with working with the state, city, or county. There's health care, there's pension, there's things that have helped move a lot of black people into a better standard of living. And now you're starting to take that away. Our governor, who has aggressively going to what people think what this current presidential administration is doing with federal employees. Well, our governor has been doing it all along when it comes to state employees, dwindling them down and trying to open up more positions for white people, and especially white women, to move into these jobs, especially when you look at Department of Human Services, which is predominantly who predominantly employs Black women.
Absolutely. And I challenge anybody who can show the evidence of such a thing that has been happening in government. I know the Republicans always like to suggest and say that they always want smaller government, but guess what? Ain't no such thing, T. How you gonna grow the nation and have a smaller government in order to be able to administer it effectively? If you can show unequivocally the proof and evidence that there's a lot of, I hate those buzzwords, fraud, waste, and abuse all the time. Show us the examples of that. Where is your evidence in order to be able to support it? Show us your evidence that Black folks are not effectively carrying out their positions and their jobs in government in any way, shape, or form, that DEI is having an impact on how the function of government is failing. They've never been able to demonstrate that, in my view, and it's a red herring.
Yeah, and so yesterday afternoon, I had a meeting with some of our union members, local 100 union members, who work for Department of County Operations, DCO, and Department of County Operations. They're the ones that handle services. They handle Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP, T, all these services that so many people rely on. Is under the umbrella of DCO. And one of the things that they were concerned about that is going to force a lot of people out of these positions is that the governor has sent a letter to Department of Health and Human Services, which I think Robert Kennedy Jr. is up for that position. And so she wants to add a work requirement onto Medicaid, but also her idea is to get people off Medicaid, or that if you're on it, that in this work requirement you have to have what she calls a success coach, who's gonna that you have to meet certain criteria from this success coach to keep qualifying. The problem that some of these DCO staff are worried about is you're cutting down staff. So already your caseload is overworked. Mm-hmm. So now you don't want to hire people. So now some of these caseworkers are concerned that not only am I going to have to do my cases, but now I'm going to have added cases for being a success coach, which is going to put more pressure on me to get these things done. And their concern is not only does it open the door for me to be disciplined and terminated, but it also opens the door for people to get lost in the cracks because you won't have enough people to cover these services.
Well, if you just check the history in and of itself, you'll see that historically speaking, there have always been people that have been left in the cracks. Oftentimes more blacks than whites, but there are certainly whites who have been left in the cracks for those many years. And the governor, though well-intended as she may be, does not quite yet, as fully as she should know, really have an understanding of how government in and of itself works. It works from the top down, and not necessarily the bottom up, because we know how incremental the bottom up pace has been for years. And if we don't have unions, Tony, to which you have dedicated your life's work to be a part of a union and showing how unions make a difference in the outcome for folk who don't even work in unions. Yeah. They still take the benefits nonetheless. They always talk about, well, I don't like unions because, people in positions are trying to take advantage of me. There's no proof of that anywhere along the line. But the fact when unions work as diligently as they do in order to incorporate greater opportunities and greater levels of security for people of all colors, that's always something that each and every one of them benefit from. Just like when former President Joseph Biden came up with the Recovery Act, and they began the process of rebuilding infrastructure projects, not just in red states allegedly or blue states allegedly, but all over America. When was the last time we had that kind of personal undertaking? And I'm an old man, I can't recall it, that we've ever pursued that in a real meaningful way. Just think about that alone. That could keep people working for 10 years or more on different things. But we're in a position now where they are focusing more on the cultural aspects of trying to make things a lot more palatable for them, as opposed to doing things that are going to be more beneficial to the public.
Let me get a couple of announcements in. A couple of comments in. So here's Lowe saying that Blacks will never get preferential treatment as long as Blacks are in America. That's the first comment that he made. And then the next comment is an African proverb: the lion and the hyena will never be friends. And then his final comment is DEI and affirmative action based upon the data, the greatest beneficiary has been white women. At a point in time, white women were classified as a minority. Isn't that the banana in the tailpipe?
The banana in the tailpipe.
I would certainly agree with all of what he mentioned, because there's a lot of truth in that.
Yes.
White women, when affirmative action, I worked and had the great opportunity of working in government for a number of years. And I can remember going all the way back to the 80s when the affirmative action programs were beginning to be put into place. And I worked in Atlantic City, New Jersey during that period of time. And I think the city of Washington, D.C. had one of the most progressive affirmative action programs, whereby for Black businesses, they were setting aside 25% of their contract opportunities. Other cities, even though they were in the South or in New York and Detroit, Chicago, and other places, we're doing 10% and 15%. And I always felt that 25% was easily attainable, because when you look at things historically, once again, the non-Black businesses had always been getting 100% and more of the contract opportunities. But here we are in 2025, and the makeup of small Black businesses getting an opportunity to be able to receive contracts based on their skill sets and their ability is almost non-existent. And the only way that we're going to be able to bring those differences to the plate is to be able to demonstrate the kind of work that you are doing right now, Tony.
And so it's also it's so amazing that so many of the people complaining about this dismantling of the government, what's going on here in the state of Arkansas with shrinking state government. It's almost like this light bulb has gone on with a lot of white people, especially white workers in the federal government, white workers in the state. This light bulb is going on. So hold up. What you mean? I'm being bought out. What you mean I'm being laid out? What you mean I can't get in my office? And what do you mean? What do you mean you shrinking down these county offices? What is going on? And it's like, hold up. We voted, and I heard, Elon Musk was talking about, well, this is what the American people voted for, smaller government.
I heard that.
Yeah, but it's almost like, well, we didn't think we're part of the small government. We didn't think it's going to affect us. And that's the thing that's going on. And we have to be aware in the totality of all this that everybody it's going to be a lot of people caught up in this who think they weren't going to get caught up in this. And I know, Larry, you have been a staunch supporter of unions. You know, I know the NAACP has always been hand in hand with unions. And so when the lawsuits by the federal employees, their union, when those lawsuits were filed, not just on the buyout or but also the lockout and some of these layoffs that was going on, and even here in the state of Arkansas, as unions are fighting to gather strength within its members and within the employees to push back, So how is the NAACP? How is are they looking at this, and what are some of the things that they may be doing to help? I know they have filed some lawsuits nationally also with some of the stuff that's going on.
One of the things that the NAACP is doing is to try and encourage people to continue to be unified, because a people unified on any individual front always represent success in the ultimate endeavor of trying to create and sustain parity. But right now, at this time, it's an effort being made by those who are the power brokers in this nation today to do otherwise. The unions will have to, in my opinion, continue to organize people, just like the NAACP is going to have to continue to be in the forefront of these efforts in order to organize people. And we may very well have to apply. I know some people may disagree with it, but we may necessarily have to apply some of the tactics that had to be utilized during the 60s, during the 70s in terms of boycotts. A lot of folk are saying, well, we don't need to apply things that we have already done. But guess what? Those things worked. And here they are in the 21st century with those same issues that have festered for the last 50, 60, 70 years or more. And those issues can work again, at least in my thinking, in my opinion. We have to hit people who are holding the purse strings in their pocketbooks in order to be able to make a difference.
Yeah, there's an old saying that the more things change, the more they stay the same. I've been running my mouth for quite a while, so I want to get my
I just have a couple of comments. Lois still comments, and he said, Malcolm X said it best. The chickens have come home to roost. And he also says, white folks refuse to vote in their best interest and the best interest of others.
I'm going to give my co-host the opportunity.
Oh, no, you all, I figured that you all had started some conversation before I got in on it, so I'm just listening to you all. Trying to get Mr. Hicks up on the screen right here, but his camera is blocked and I can't seem to undo it. But yeah, I'm good.
And he don't know nothing about it. So.
Yeah, I figured that, so I was trying to do it on my own, and I see where it's blocked, but it won't let me unblock it.
Don't feel bad, Larry. I'm tech challenged also. Yeah. But one of the things, and I know so many people are focused on what's going on nationally, and they're not really seeing what's going on here
in their own backyard.
Yeah, in their own backyard, because and that's one of the distractions. That's one of out of the playbook,
yes.
The capitalism playbook.
Mm-hmm.
If I keep you occupied over here, you can't. I keep you at the front door. You can't steal everything from me out the back door. And so, what are some of the things that we can tell our listening audience and those online? What are some of the things that we can do to stay aware, to stay vigilant, to ensure that we're not being duped at the front door and being raped, being taken advantage of out the back door? I don't want to use the word right, but taking advantage out the back door.
Well, one of the things that, in my opinion, we could be better at is continuing to move toward greater unity at all levels. I mean, the black churches are the anchor, have been the anchor for the black community in America for hundreds of years. Yet The black churches sometimes often only focus and this is not to be critical of them and demean them in any way, shape, or form, because they still offer a lot of service to Black America as a whole. But they have been diverted into not only, and it's no admonishment to those who think money is important, because it certainly is. You got to have money in churches in order to be able to provide some of the services that you do that deal with feeding the hungry, deal with clothing the naked, being able to elevate other opportunities at the educational level, being able to point out the different healthcare disparities that exist between blacks and whites in this country. But the only way you can do it is being unified with one another and being committed to being able to bring those issues out in some form of protest in one way or the other. Some people might not want to boycott. I can understand that. If individuals who are working at Walmart, or you're working at Target, or you're working at McDonald's, and you need to have a job, ain't nothing wrong with that. And we're not trying to put you in jeopardy in any way, shape, or form. But you don't have to go to some of the other places where you know your dollars are being exploited and not used on your best behalf, but they are just being put in a position in order to have you be in a state of mind of continuing to support them anyway. And that is doing more harm than good to many of us in the Black community, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and also when you start to see, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, with how these new policies, these new laws are going to affect employees in state and federal, especially black, and even so many white employees, is that the services that they think they're going to be entitled to aren't going to be there, because it's not going to be anybody there to provide the service, because of the shrinking workforce. But also what I believe is going to happen is that you're going to see a lot of people start to rebel in a lot of ways against what's going on in the government. But I think it may be a situation where it may be too late, because once this starts, and you look at USAID, even if they bring it back, it's they tore it down so much that it really can't
be as functional as it was at one time.
Right.
And to a certain extent, you are absolutely correct about that. And I just want to thank the incredible technical knowledge and advancement of Miss Denise, who made it possible to ensure that on Facebook for this great show that you guys are having on today. But we have a lot of work to do in terms of trying to mobilize the forces. There are a lot of folk in the Black community who say that this represents an opportunity for us to be able to rebuild a Black Wall Street, to be able to do more in expanding opportunities for HBCUs throughout the country, to finally do more than build just one or two hospitals, like the hospital in Washington, D.C., and the hospital in Ohio and other places. We need to concentrate on taking advantage of our own financial strength and capabilities. Invest in small Black businesses. We have a great opportunity to be able to do these things without any kind of impediments whatsoever. And we are looking to try and encourage people to believe that that's a possibility and not just a dream.
Let me get this comment in from Lo, and then I do want to say something.
Sure.
So he says, your power is in your money. Don't spend your money where you are not appreciated. I want to, you mentioned the people wanting to withhold their money, like they want to boycott places like Target, in particular, people are talking about boycotting Target because they have reneged on the commitment that they made after George Floyd and how they were going to spend the $2 billion towards these DEI efforts, and they have now reneged on it. And so now we have Reverend Jamal Harrison Bryant with New Birth Church in Atlanta, in Georgia, who is calling for the boycott of Target, and it's supposed to start on March 3rd, March 5th, and it's supposed to run, I guess it's running through Lent. And they're talking about the fact that if all of us, especially as Black people with our economic power, if we practice what Dr. King suggested in his mountaintop speech in 1963, economic withdrawal, then this will hit them where it hurts, in the dollars, because that's what they are more concerned about than our feelings or than our humanity or anything like that. But I just want to caution those of us who are interested in this economic withdrawal, not because I'm against the economic withdrawal, but I believe that if we do it the same way that they are suggesting that we do it, we're going to fall into the same trap that Dr. King fell into. Because after the Montgomery boycott, which was successful in getting Black people the ability to ride on the buses, what happened? Black people fell right back into the system of the buses. The bus system still was not designed for Black folks. Just because they let you ride in it did not mean that they were going to honor your humanity in the process. They were just letting you ride because they still need your participation in the system. And so if we boycott Target for 30 days, which is the proposal, we boycott them, that's $29 million a day, however much money that is. What happens after the boycott is over and they say, oh yes, we're going to renew our commitment? Then you go right back to supporting Target, right? You go right back into the system, and we're just perpetuating the same behavior over and over again. We're going to be mad at you until you do what you say. Then they say, oh, we'll do it as long as we make you think that we're going to do it. We put it down on paper, but that doesn't mean anything. We still don't have any assurances. We still don't have any guarantees. And so that's my concern about us when we decide that we're going to do these big, huge movements. I don't think that we think it through. My question would be, okay, if we're going to boycott Target for 30 days is how long it takes to develop a habit. If we don't need Target in 30 days, we don't need Target in 31 days or 32 days. So how can we redirect that $29 million that they are suffering the loss of, so that we are pouring it into Black businesses, so that we are starting our own businesses? Like, how do we keep that $29 million a day out of their system rather than turning right back around and pouring it into it again?
You redirect the money and you put it into Black targets, Black-owned targets, because there are no Black-owned targets.
There are not
today.
There are not.
And you can make yourself an entity of competition in which you are competing with all of the major entities in terms of every dollar. And as most folks feel, when they spend their money, it ain't Black money, it ain't white money, it ain't Native American money or Asian money, it's green money. And that's what we have to focus on and understand, that this $1 trillion representation of what we spend on a yearly basis is only a small microcosm in terms of demonstrating nothing more than what we can do as a people. And I believe that.
Yeah, and one thing also we have to look at, because you have to connect the dots. You have to look and connect the dots. And so when Black people weren't allowed to shop at other places, they built their own business.
Yes,
they built their own communities. And so it's been this systematic. Every time a Black community started to thrive, they would come and destroy it. Because we want your money. We know you're going to spend money, but we want money to be spent with us. And one of the things that has happened is this idea in the Black community that I don't want another Black person to gain more than I have. I don't want to spend my money. I think on my show I talked about this all the time, where there may be a Black store on the corner, and it may be a white store right across. Well, Black people won't go spend money at that Black store, but they will go across the street, even though the Black store may offer better food, better benefits, better products. I'm going to go across to the store. I'd rather give it to this white business owner to this Black business owner. One of the things that has happened out of the pandemic, and research shows that during the pandemic, there was a uptick, an upsurge. More Black businesses and entrepreneurs start to come out of the pandemic because, like, hey, I'm at home, I'm not working. Here's my opportunity to create my own business. One of the first things they attacked was any entity within the federal government. That's why they wanted to get rid of DEI, because there was money earmarked for Black businesses. There was money earmarked for minority business. There was money earmarked for that, where you could have the opportunity to open up your business. The Small Business Association had loans where Black people could get. Well, now all that funding is gone, which is going back to what we're talking about. Target, Walmart, all of them, and they know you may not come to a Target, you may not shop at Target, but you're gonna go shop somewhere else. You might not shop at a Walmart, but you're gonna go shop somewhere else. And a lot of times when you're going to shop at, we've already bought that up, so it's just a subsidy. So we're gonna send you somewhere else. You wanna boycott Target? Fine, we don't have a problem with that. But wherever else you go, it may be tied up with us. And going back to what you were saying, is the money is there to create your own Target, to create your own Walmart, and we go. And I think that becomes the problem sometimes, is that it's this stigma sometimes with a lot of Black people that if I buy from a Black person, I'm not going to get the same quality. I'm not going to get the same. I'm not going to get, it's something I'm not going to get.
Yeah, but wait, let me get this comment from Lowe. He says, whether Black folks own a Target or not, the board of directors are all white. This is where policy is formed and the decision made about the corporation. I'm glad you asked that, because I'm going to visit Arlo Washington's Federal Credit Union today, and because I've been trying to look up the board of directors for the People's Trust Community Federal Credit Union. If y'all know who the board of I can't find them. I've been looking for them, and I want to know. I need to know who the board of directors are before I need to know that before I put my money over there. But that's a great statement. But Tony, you're focusing only on, I feel like you're focusing on those people who are still, plagued by and greatly suffering from internalized racism. But there are enough of us now who know that it is beneficial for us to support Black businesses. There are enough of us now who understand that we have got to learn how to live outside of the system. Because for me, if you say, well, let's get a Target, I'm agreeing with Lowe. I don't really need Black folks to own Target, because Target is still owned by, even their franchise is going to be directed by the people who run the entire corporation. So you still are at their behest. So we don't need another Target just because you say a Black person runs it, because I can name plenty of stuff that they put Black people in charge of that's still being run by white folks in the background. So what we have to do, and I continue to say this, is we've got to go back to our roots, and our roots are that we know how to survive outside of the system. We have not always been included in the system. We are not still included in the system. So to think that we need a Target, to think that we need a Walmart, to think that we need a whatever, we don't need any of those things. We need each other, we need community, and we know how to do that if we would just focus on offense rather than playing defense.
I see every week a crowd of people at a small, predominantly Black-owned entity that's right here in Little Rock. I mean, all of y'all know KABF and the services that they operate. So it's a small venue, but they are constantly catering to people who look like us. Mm-hmm. And to say that we're the most resilient people in the world, in my judgment, might sound a little preposterous, but when you look at the history of all of us, you find that we are the only racial entity, in my judgment, that has had laws written against us to keep us from voting, to have laws written against us to keep us from learning how to read and write. You remember Black folks used to be punished if they were found out to be learning how to read and write at one time in this country. That's ridiculous. And we need to focus on the learned Black folks, and there's plenty of them in this nation, in my view, who can continue to foster the educational development. Because I can remember before I went to an integrated school, I had an opportunity of a Black woman down in El Dorado, Arkansas, when I was a little bitty boy. And I couldn't go to kindergarten at the white school, but this Black woman took the initiative on her own to educate some Black children in her neighborhood. And there must have been about 20, 25 kids who benefited from that and learned how to read and write. So this is back in the early 50s, man. I can't be told that that can't happen again. That can't be replicated. And those same kind of efforts focused and targeted on advancing Black folks. So in short, Denise, you're right in many respects about, those entities that do exist have boards made up mostly of folk that don't look like us making the decision. And you're absolutely right. And this is not to disparage or demean Brother Washington in any way, shape, or form, but we need to know what that board looks like. And I know you will. And when you do find out about it, please let me know.
Absolutely.
And not to try and disparage the good work they have already done in the community and in the Black community. But
no, because that's exactly why I want to know, right? That's exactly why I want to know, because of the work that they are doing, we want to support them. Like, yes. I want to support them. I want to point people to them. I want to push people toward him so that he can get more business. Because in my mind, the way I'm thinking, more business means more capital. More capital means that more funds that you can give to the community. Like, that's the way I'm thinking about it in my head. I know he receives some from the government since it's a funded, the Federal Credit Union is funded by the government, and he gets a little portion of that money. But I still want to know how much in charge he is so that I can know how to better direct folks. But he is doing a better job than these other banks. We can tell you that.
I think that one of the other things that we should consider and try and entertain is the mobilization of Black foundations all around this country, not just here in the state of Arkansas, but all around this nation. LeBron James has a strong foundation. Magic Johnson has a strong foundation. Steph Curry has one. Oprah Winfrey has one, although, people want to get off on the Oprah ain't this and ain't that and all that kind of stuff. But we need to concentrate and focus on those who do have the ability, a Jay-Z and a Beyonce together, can do things that have been heretofore impossible for us to be able to venture out and do. But I think that they can serve as a good starting point in terms of helping us rebuild Black America.
Yeah, let me get this message in from Lo. He says, Sankofa, reminding us of Sankofa, what it means. Go back and grab those procedures that work, modify them for today's situation, and move forward.
Yes, I always think about, me personally, I always think about when I look back into history, when I look back, and I think about all the things that, like you said, the resilience of Black people, the ancestry of Black people, the civilizations of Black people.
Yes.
That other cultures have studied.
Yes.
And copied and emulated. And so when I look at all that, one of the things that comes to mind with me personally is that in the culture of Black people, and as we develop and as we become the entrepreneurs and the business people and the community people that we are, the one thing that sticks at the heart to me of Black people is humanity. I believe Black people had a sense of humanity more than any other culture. And what I mean by that humanity, is that we want to see other people especially within our own culture. We want to see them strive. The majority of Black people want to see Black people strive. They want to see Black people accomplish. They want to see Black people successful. When I think we lose track of that, I think that's when it becomes a detriment. And you have to have all sides of that. You have to have all different pieces of that. For every Malcolm, you had to have a Martin, you know. And I think when we understand that you can encompass all the different factions to move forward, and like you said before, unity. And I think that's the number one thing that has to happen. That we have to be a unified front.
I'd like to just mention the significance of Black women and the role they have played from beginning to present day until the end, which is they've always been in the forefront of being able to make us and incite us to do better, despite the fact that they've been under tremendous burdens over the years. But Black women can run the world, and they can do so in a meaningful way.
Of course, it's a question that a conversation I had with someone, and they were talking about they couldn't vote for Kamala Harris because you can't have a woman running
That's
the government. And
that's what happened.
Who runs your house?
Yeah.
Who does this in your house? Who does that in your house?
Who gives you life?
But it's like the Black men, and particularly I want to talk about Black men on purpose. It's like Black men, and not every single one, but as a broad brush, Black men act like the board of directors that we're talking about. That you've got the face. You say that Black women, are the face, but then you want to be in the background making all of the decisions because you're the quote unquote head of the household. You want to look like that. And until we can realize that we're supposed to be in partnership, particularly as Black women and Black men, that it's not a competition, it's not a head and a tail, it's a partnership. Until you're able to see us in that way, we won't be able to be as unified as possible. Now, I do want to say that for the work I'm trying to do with Building Black, we don't need everybody to be on the same page, because I don't believe that every Black person is going to get on board with the campaign. I don't believe that. And I don't believe that we can't do the work without having people who are non-Black who understand the struggle and are able to contribute in their ways. And so I'm not waiting on Black folks to unify, because I'm just not sure that we have the time to wait for that to happen before we need to move.
Okay. Hey, woo, great show. We are out of time. So I want to thank all of you for listening in. I want to thank Larry Hicks for being here today. Any last words real quick, Larry?
No, it was a great opportunity, and I love being a part of this great show that you guys conduct every day and committed to people.
Okay, so just want to thank once again everybody for tuning in. Denise, any last words?
If we want to live in a society that is more just, more equitable, more peaceful, and more inclusive, we have got to learn how to live and love differently.
Okay, so make sure you continue to listen to KABF. Make sure that you get your pledge and donation in the KABF 88.3 Voice of the People, and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.
Peace.
KABF.